Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Another round of snow falling across Metro Detroit. Conditions already getting a little slick outside as we come to you tonight at 11. A winter weather advisory now in effect for most of southeast Michigan.
Let's get right to Andrew with how much snow we should expect overnight and what that morning commute's going to look like. Hey, Andrew.
Well, Karen and Devin, good to see you tonight. And even in these areas where the advisory does not apply, at least in Lapeer, Sanilac, and St. Clair counties, there's still snow that's falling. Take a look at Storm Tracker 4. So whether you have an advisory or not, it is slippery and it can be hazardous if you have any overnight plans or even early tomorrow morning. Right now, the snow is remaining steady across much of southeast Michigan. These darker areas of blue right here in the city, including just downriver on the southwest side of the city and into southern Ontario, by the way. That's where snow is coming down at a steady pace, and more yet to move through over the next couple of hours. Temperatures right now mostly in the middle and low 30s, right around 32 degrees, right at the freezing mark, and this steady snow occurs up until about 3 a.m. It becomes more scattered between 3 and 5 in the morning, and it's out of here by 5 a.m. or afterward. But in its wake, it will leave 1 to 3 inches of snow, closer to 2 to 3 inches in places like Ann Arbor and Howell, even right here in the city, around 1 to 2 inches by dawn tomorrow. We'll talk more about these snow totals, what we can expect tomorrow afternoon, and the rest of the week coming up.
All right, Andrew, and make sure you wake up with Brandon and Kim for a look at what you'll face for the morning drive. Tomorrow morning, Local 4 News Today starting at 4:30 a.m.
A brutal killing in Warren leaves a woman dead and a man in custody.
Happened at the home on the city's south side between 8 and 9 Mile Roads. Jason Colthorpe live tonight with the latest on the case. Jason.
In Devon, police have wrapped up a long day of investigating out here in this neighborhood, and as they do, it appears there were some warning signs to what happened here. Late Monday night, all is quiet on Julius Avenue, south of 9 Mile in Warren. Just one police cruiser sits quietly outside a home where earlier in the day, police were called for the death of a woman in her 30s.
When I got back about 2 in the afternoon, there was a lot of police over there.
Neighbors say the woman lived there with a man in his 30s who is deaf.
When the police were knocking on the door, he probably couldn't hear them.
She told at least one neighbor he'd been violent with her in recent months, and then it's believed things got worse in the last couple of days when police were noticed in the area. And then today.
What I heard is he called this morning and told him he had killed his wife.
Police are officially saying the woman was dead when they arrived and had serious trauma to her head.
And told him that he beat her with a hammer.
They arrested the man there without incident.
It's this kitty corner of the house, you know what I mean? And it's sad, you know, this time of year, and but I'd heard that there was quite a bit of problems going on in the house over there.
By the way, police not officially saying exactly what the relationship between the man and the woman is here, but they are telling us they plan to release many more specifics about what happened in this home coming up tomorrow, so we should learn a lot more then. For now, we're reporting live in Warren. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
We'll sure hope so. All right, Jason.
Tonight, the CDC is strengthening its recommendation for booster shots.
It comes amid new concerns over the spread of the new contagious Omicron variant. CDC says all adults should get boosted 6 months after the second dose of Pfizer or Moderna's vaccine or 2 months after the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Over the holiday weekend, Michigan added more than 25,000 new COVID cases. That's an average of more than 5,000 cases over the past 5 days. Today, Governor Gretchen Whitmer addressed the troubling numbers in our state, once again making a plea for Michiganders to get vaccinated and wear masks while indoors.
The information is that these vaccines still hold up well against all the variants that have come and gone, but viruses mutate, and that's why wearing a mask while you're inside is crucial. Our COVID numbers are too high. They've always been too high.
The state health department is reporting more than 4,300 people in hospitals statewide with confirmed or suspected cases of COVID. That is the highest since the start of the pandemic.
Days after Thanksgiving, 4 contractors working in a new subdivision heard someone honking for help. They discovered a desperate mom with a teenager suffering from a debilitating seizure. The family had pulled over at Stillwater Crossing in Macomb, and that's where Priya Mann is tonight. Priya, the family sees these Good Samaritans as real angels.
Yeah, and for good reason, Devin. They appeared almost out of nowhere. Just take a look. This is a new subdivision that's under construction. There's not a lot happening here. The mom had 911 on the phone when her daughter's guardian angels appeared.
You don't hear every day that force rangers help people with seizures.
18-year-old Miranda May was with her mom on the way to the doctors when she had an epileptic seizure.
I was trying to pay attention to 911, but my only thought was getting my daughter out of the car.
She pulled into a subdivision, and that's pretty much all I remember.
I just suddenly started to honk the horn. Honk, and all of a sudden, I saw a man coming my way.
When I heard the honking, I could tell the severity of it, and I could tell it wasn't a normal, please move out of my way.
Local 4 was there when one of Miranda's angels dropped by.
Can I have a hug? Oh, girl. Oh, my goodness. Girl. That was a big hug.
Chris Lindsay and his family wanted to check up on Miranda. He was one of 4 contractors who rushed to help.
She used the phrase, my daughter, and helped my daughter a lot. So in my head, that's what I hear.
I was telling them that 911 needed me to get her flat on the ground, and they lifted her over the mud and set her on the concrete.
At that point, you kind of just go a little blank and you go into fight or flight mode.
And they were putting coats beneath her head. They stayed with her to make sure she didn't veer off the sidewalk into the mud.
4 strangers stayed with the family till paramedics arrived.
I'm so happy you're okay, honey.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
And Chris and Miranda have a lot in common. Neither one likes the spotlight. They both love cats and video games. This is certainly an experience neither one will forget. In Macomb tonight, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Oh, I'm sure of that. All right, Priya.
Well, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell reacting tonight after her office in Dearborn was broken into and vandalized.
She says someone smashed her door, windows, and then broke memorabilia in the office. No one was hurt. In fact, no one was in the office at the time. U.S. Capitol Police now assisting Dearborn Police in that investigation. Congresswoman released a statement saying, quote, the motive for today's incident is unclear, but what I can tell you is the disrespect, violence, and division need to end in this country. We need to practice civility and kindness, not divisiveness and anger.
A Troy man is charged with open murder and felony firearm after allegedly shooting his mother in the head while riding inside a car on Woodward Avenue. Happened Wednesday night near the Pleasant Ridge Royal Oak border. Prosecutors say 22-year-old George Harry shot his 52-year-old mother from the backseat while she was driving them home from a Thanksgiving Eve dinner. He then got out of the car and shot at 3 other vehicles. A 43-year-old woman was hit in the leg. Harry is being held at Oakland County Jail without bond. His arraignment is set for tomorrow.
Detroit police arrest 2 men in connection with a sexual assault and beating of a 63-year-old woman on the city's west side. Police say 44-year-old Elvin Shepard is charged with assault with intent to murder. Second is a person of interest who is being held right now on an unrelated charge. But this attack happened back on November 14th, where the woman was basically left for dead outside this church on Joy Road. But police say tips from the community led them to the arrest of the suspects.
We're confident that we've got the 2 people responsible. We've got enough evidence and some facts and circumstances that I will not go into right now. But she was not randomly targeted. There was conversation prior to the incident, and both were present during the entire incident.
Police say the 63-year-old woman remains hospitalized, in fact, fighting for her life with a head injury.
For the second time in 2 years, a seawall has collapsed along the Detroit River. This time it happened at a boat slip belonging to the Army Corps of Engineers. Now, it's not far from the revered dock that collapsed into the river in 2019, the focus of Local 4 Defenders investigations for over a year. State environmental officials say this most recent collapse happened Friday, sending potentially hazardous materials into the river. Testing is now underway, with samples expected to come back later this week.
Still ahead, a Michigan assistant superintendent on the run from police.
What investigators discovered he had been doing for the past 7 years.
Also, it's now been a month since Brendan Santo vanished during a trip to Michigan State University. Why Michigan State Police are now bringing in outside experts on that case next.